Well, I'll tell you, it's hotter than the devil's butt crack, so let's talk about some books before I pass out. Well, it's true. As I said at the beginning, it is dreadfully warm here, so I'm going to make this as brief as possible. But I've got the new care package from Nightworms, and I can't let a month go by without sharing with y'all what I've received. For those of you who don't know, Nightworms is, of course, the monthly horror book subscription service. I'm a subscriber, and every month they send me 2 horror novels, along with a little packet of goodies. There will be a link down in the What's It if you want to check them out. Not that this is a sponsored video. It isn't, but for y'all's information, it's down there. Similarly, if you're interested in checking out any of these books, whatever they happen to be, I don't know yet, but if you're interested in checking those out, there will be purchase links down in the What's It for those as well. But because I'm trying to do this fast, let's get right into it. And while I carefully slice this open while attempting not to stab the books, let me remind you to do all those YouTubey things. Like this video, share it with a friend, share it with an enemy. Be sure to leave me a comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Do all of those things that I annoyingly remind you to do every time, but it does help me to grow this channel, so I'm going to keep on annoying you. But with that commercial business out of the way, I got some books, so let's dive right in and see what we've got this month for June of 2023 from the Nightworms Company. The first item to come out is a hardcover, and it is a book called Boys in the Valley by Phobophile. This is an author I am familiar with. I've not yet read his works, although I have picked up a couple of them, and they're sitting near the top, in fact, of my ever-growing to-be-read pile. But this is not one of the ones that I'd picked up before, so that's a nice little addition to my collection. The author does have a good reputation. Certainly lots of praise on the back, and other people that I know, readers that I have spoken to in the past, seem to like his works, so I'm excited to try it. I don't actually know anything about what this particular novel is about, so let's read the description here on the flap and, well, let's see what it says. It says, St. Vincent's Orphanage for Boys, early 20th century in a remote valley in Pennsylvania. Here, under the watchful eyes of several priests, 32 boys work, learn, and worship. Peter Barlow, orphaned as a child by a gruesome murder, has made a new life here. As he approaches adulthood, he has friends, a future, a family. Then, late one stormy night, a group of men arrive at their door, one of whom is badly wounded, occult symbols carved into his flesh. His death releases an ancient evil that spreads like sickness, infecting St. Vincent's and the children within. Soon, boys begin acting differently, forming groups, taking sides. Others turn up dead. Now, Peter and those dear to him must choose sides of their own, each of them knowing their lives, and perhaps their eternal souls, are at risk. That sounds delightful. This is the kind of sort of classical horror story that I really like. That's not to say the modern stuff is bad. A lot of it's great. But what got me into the genre and the stuff that I keep coming back to is this sort of classical battle between the forces of good and evil. It sounds like, well, it sounds like a good book. The setting in the orphanage is a good one for a horror story. Orphanages themselves can be frequently unpleasant places. They have sort of a negative reputation. But a lot of times they're actually not. People end up there for unfortunate reasons, so there is a negative connotation in that sense, but most orphanages throughout history have been run by people who genuinely care, and it sounds like that's the case of the orphanage here. But because of the circumstances that land people there, combined with the reputation that orphanages have from some other works of literature, and then just combined with the fact that we have lots of children living under one roof, and the fact that large buildings tend to be creepy in their own right, orphanages tend to be good places to set horror stories. So, sounds like a good setting, sounds like a good premise, a good theme. Really sounds like this one has all the kinds of things that I look for in a horror story, so I can't wait to dig into Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi. That brings us, of course, to the second book. There are always two, occasionally there's a third, but there's always at least two books. This month there are, in fact, two books. And our second one is a book called 19 Claws and a Blackbird. That's by Augustina Bastarrica. This is the author of Tinder is the Flesh, a very famous book. A lot of people rank that as a very disturbing book. I have not yet read that or any of this author's other works. I am familiar with her works by reputation, having not read them myself. I don't know anything about what this book is about. I see it says stories on the front, so it's a collection of short stories. That's all I know. Let's see if there's some hints in a description. According to the flap here, it says, from Augustina Bastarrica, celebrated author of the award-winning TikTok sensation Tinder is the Flesh, this collection of 20 brutal, darkly funny short stories takes readers into their deepest fears and most disturbing fantasies. Through stories about violence and alienation, Bastarrica's vision of the human experience emerges in its complex, unexpected ways, often unsettling, sometimes thrilling, and always profound. In Roberto, a girl claims to have a rabbit between her legs. A woman's neighbor jumps to his death in A Light, Swift, and Monstrous Sound. And in Candy Pink, a woman fails to contend with a difficult breakup in 5 Easy Steps. Written in Bastarrica's signature clever, vivid style, these stories question love, friendship, family relationships, and unspeakable desires. So we don't have a lot of details about what the stories are about. I suspect people who are more familiar with the author's works than I am probably know a little bit more of what I'm in for. But as I say, I do know the author's other book by reputation, so presumably these should be fairly dark and disturbing stories, and I am all for that, so I'm looking forward to diving into this one as well. Having said that, we also have the goodie bag to discuss. That would be this little thing. And in case you don't know, the books are the main thing in the Nightworms packages, but they are friendly people and they always send us this extra little care package that has some stuff in it. So let's dive in here and see what we've got. The first item is the bookmark. There is always a bookmark. This one says Nightworms July 2023. Cruel Intentions apparently is the theme for this month. We have a clawed hand on this side, so I will put that with my collection of bookmarks. We also always have some kind of beverage, and I see a thick item, or feel a thick item in here, so let's see. We have, in this case, Pioneer Joe Coffee Company, a blend called Chill Bill. I approve of the punny sort of title. It says this is a cold brew, so I'm not much of a cold brew guy, but every once in a while, that sort of calls my name, and, well, it seems like the sort of time of year in which cold brew makes a lot more sense, because, as I said, it's hot as hell, and I don't particularly want a hot beverage at the moment as much as I do like coffee, so this is a wonderful and timely little treat. But there is more. We have the little slip that identifies all of the stuff that's supposed to be in the package. We have, additionally, an item that feels like a fridge magnet. It is. What is on it? We have a child wearing a hood, sort of a Red Riding Hood sort of character, carrying a lantern with a skull upon it. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it's a nice little fridge magnet that will soon decorate the side of a filing cabinet in my study. We also have a sticker. This one also says Cruel Intentions, and we have a very nasty looking Venus flytrap sort of a plant upon it. So people who like stickers there's always some kind of a sticker in the Nightworms package. The next item come out is a signed book plate, and I am guessing that looks like a P, so I am guessing that belongs to Philip Fracassi, Boys in the Valley. Let's see, this is a Nightfire book plate, and this is a Nightfire book, so that seems like my exercise in deduction has paid off. But we have more stuff. We have what appears to be another sticker with a, I'm not sure what's that supposed to be, sort of a organic, cellular looking sort of a thing. And it says, on his shell he holds the earth, see the shell of enormous girth. So I'm not sure what that means necessarily, but it's an interesting design. So there's that. And does that complete it? That does indeed complete the Nightworms package for June of 2023. The most important things, of course, being 2 books, neither of which I owned or have read, and both of which I am looking forward to digging into soon. I do now have a feature on this channel in which I review all of the books I read every month, sort of all at once. I do a monthly review. So as I get to these, I don't know whether it'll be this month or next or who knows when, but as I get to these books, if you're interested in what I think of them, do be sure to stick around and you'll see my review whenever I get to it. Anyway, I did promise to make this a fast one, and I think and hope I have succeeded in that endeavor. But as I said, it's hot, I'm tired, I'm going to go find a nice cool place and perhaps eat some ice cream, lactose intolerance be damned. So while I do all of that, you'll do all those YouTubey things I mentioned at the beginning, and of course, most importantly, as always, take care and stay scared.